We got another carnivore myth we want to go over?
Yeah, let's talk about this is one of my favorite ones because this one comes up most often when you bring this up to people. I would love to do it, but it's too expensive and I simply can't afford it. Ryan, why don't you tackle that one? That's the myth. You debunk it.
Okay. Cool. Get to put me on the spot here. All right. So this is actually pretty easy. Now, first of all, I will go with something that Dr. Barry, Dr. Ken Berry, says a lot. He says, you just basically get what you can afford. If all you can afford is eggs and hot dogs, then get eggs and hot dogs. There's this misconception about hot dogs being bad for you, and they're really not that bad. Maybe it's not as clean as getting like a grass-fed steak or something like that, but it's still not that bad. So you can do that. You can go, well, let's go back to eggs. Most people can get eggs if you don't go with the, the more expensive,
Pasture
cleaner, pasture raised, that type of thing. You can get eggs for $2 to $3 a dozen, somewhere in there, right? If you go with the pasture raised, you're probably looking $7 or $8 a dozen. But still, so let's say you go with the $2 to $3 ones for a dozen. That's pretty cheap right there. You can get ground beef, usually somewhere around $4 to $5 a pound. Especially if you buy it in bulk, you get it cheaper, right? So you can buy a bunch of ground beef. You can make different things up. You can mix the ground beef in with the eggs. You can make burger patties, whatever, type of deal you want to do. Make other different recipes. So you can do stuff like that. You can buy formed burger patties. You can go to like Aldi, for instance, if you have an Aldi, and they will have burger patties that are in the formed, they're already formed into burger patties in their freezer section for less than they're selling a pound of ground beef or per pound of these burger patties. So I think they're selling their ground beef, I think it's like $4.99 a pound, and for about $3.80 a pound or something like that, you can get the burger patties. So not very expensive at all. If you can afford some steak, go with some of the cheaper cuts. You can go with chuck eye. You can go with sirloin, stuff like that. And you can just add butter or whatever to get a little more fat content on the sirloin. The chuck has pretty good fat content, like a ribeye. So those are some different things that you can do. Chicken, if you want to go chicken, you can get chicken with skin on it, which is going to have a little bit more fat. You can get chicken thighs, usually pretty cheap. Sometimes they're on sale, I don't know, like $1.99 a pound or somewhere like that around me. So you can get them pretty cheap. So that's another option that's pretty cheap. There's so many different options that really are not that expensive. And then now you want to add in that that's what you're eating. You're not eating all these sides that you had to eat before, right? Like potatoes and rice and who knows whatever else that you're eating, right? So you're not eating those anymore. When it comes to drinking, you can just drink water. You don't have to drink anything else. So people that were drinking like a lot of soda and stuff like that, I mean, some of my family is not doing the carnivore diet, and I can't believe the price of soda now. It's like, I want to say it's like $10 or $12 for a 12 pack, something like that. That's crazy. I mean, that's how long it's been since I've had soda, but I remember when it used to be like $3 or something like that for a 12 pack. So, you're saving money with that. Okay. You're going to find over time that you're sick less often. So you go to the doctor and need prescriptions less often. So you're saving money there as well. So there's all these different things that kind of play into it. But you try and go with what you can afford, and then you can work your way up as maybe you're saving a little bit more money. Now you can splurge and get those pasture raised eggs or something. So that was long, but what do you got to add to that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I missed.
No, no, I think you did a very comprehensive. I mean, you covered that in a very comprehensive manner, Brian. I would just say that that was the same concern. And Brian, tell me if you had. I had some of those same concerns when I first decided to go carnivore. My wife's like, "How are we going to afford this?" And it did seem daunting at first. The longer I'm in it, the better I get at knowing when the grocery stores put their meat on sale. Tuesday morning at the Harris Teeter right across the street from where I live. Harris Teeter is a grocery chain near me. On Tuesday morning, they put the meat out. They have to sell it or get rid of it by that day. And they'll mark it down 30, 40, 50%. And I'll go buy it up. And I don't store anything else in my freezer because all I do is meat. Now, my wife has some frozen vegetables, but I have a freezer basically just for meat. So when I find meat on sale, hopefully it's around payday, so I have a little extra cash, I stock up. Also, Brian, the thing that we don't talk about very often that's an overlooked, relatively inexpensive thing is canned tuna. Canned tuna is really inexpensive. And you can boil 2 or 3 eggs, mix it in with some canned tuna. And I use my tuna, I like it in water because the oil is vegetable oil. So don't do that. Get the tuna in water. And that's another great meal for not a lot of money. The longer I do this, the more I stay in it, the more I realize that all these myths that we are debunking they weren't even real. They seemed real at first, and I get that. But the longer I do it, the more I realize that this is actually easier, cheaper, more convenient. And the big benefit on top of that is I won't be in the doctor's office and having to go get prescriptions and x-rays and surgeries. And how much does that stuff cost? And what's your quality of life worth? People have an iPhone 16, unlimited this, they got Netflix, they got Hulu, they got all this stuff, but then they say they can't afford to eat healthy. Where are your priorities? If you're living that close to the bone, and a lot of Americans are, I mean, I'm a paramedic, I don't make a lot of money, but I've prioritized my health and longevity over some of those niche conveniences of like Netflix. I don't even have Netflix anymore. I got rid of it. And the money I save from all that stuff, I spend on food. I have increased energy, so I spend all my extra energy outside running sprints and doing push-ups and just being out in nature.